shows you the difference in terms of the
about the Obama administration and the handling of the war. But in his lecture at Cal Poly,
the Santa Barbara County Jail is split into 3 facilities. It's home to around 950 inmates. They all have the potential to lash out.
anytime you're moving inmates around, or anytime you have an interaction with deputies where they're out of the cells and they're unprotected, it has a possibility of something happening.
These are the worst of the worst. The 9 by 12 feet of concrete and cold steel house 3 to 4 people at a time. Keeping the peace are between 18 to 20 correctional deputies who patrol the halls. They're on the front lines and need to be on constant alert.
This is a shank from plexiglass. Those are stabbing instruments.
1 out of 10 people in the main part of the jail are in here for murder or attempted murder. Kind of shows you the difference in terms of the potential for violence, the type of inmate that we're dealing with.
To deal with overcrowding, deputies have put in extra beds in minimum security, but there's no air conditioning and temperatures can rise above 90 degrees. In minimum security housing, there are 260 inmates. In this one room, 75 inmates have to share it. One of the issues with overcrowding are the beds. 3 inmates on a bunk in one room. It's a dangerous recipe. Officials tell me it could be only a matter of time before something goes wrong.
You get 250 people in an area where it's 90 degrees, you have overcrowding or crowded conditions where it's very hot, the inmates get on edge.
It began early Thursday morning. House after house, heavily armed officer after heavily armed officer, even K-9 units.
We believe that we've arrested basically the leadership of the West Park Street Gang.
Police Chief Dan McConaughey gave us a front row seat.
It's probably our largest, most rapidly growing gang that we have.
At the house on West Orange, the target wasn't there. They got him somewhere else. On West Creston alone, officers targeted 3 homes. Inside 929, 4 pipe bombs. Eerily, a cell phone in the room rings as we're capturing this rare look at the bombs still intact.
We're dealing with some serious individuals. These people are responsible for street robberies and assaults with the deadly weapons, drive-by shootings. We're not going to tolerate that.
The devices were too unstable to move. The bomb squad was called up and opted to destroy them with a water cannon in the backyard. Back at the police station, suspects are unloaded and put on the line. Interview rooms are at capacity.
We cannot tolerate it. We cannot let gangs make people afraid to go out at night. We're not going to allow that. We're going to go after them. We're going to chase them down. We're going to hunt them down and we're going to take them to jail.
Some of the first items seized are being bagged. All gang insignia is fair game, even this tiny custom barbecue. After all is said and done, on Friday afternoon, we get to see more evidence, drugs, guns, and this is just a portion of it. Also, 25 mugshots out of 35 arrests made in 30 hours. But despite the size and scope of this sweep, police know the gang will reorganize, and it could be a violent internal battle for control.
We know who the people are involved. We'll watch the new leaders emerge, and then you know what? We're going to come right back after them.
Yeah, that's right. Crews are turning around drivers at Pier Avenue and Air Park Drive this evening, and they have been all day long. And there is just major flooding. There is a puddle that is far-reaching. It is deep, and it has caused major damage to several homes here.
The water is up past my knees. In our house, it's about a good 6 to 8 inches deep.
Terry Boyd and her family packed up a few belongings, rolled up their pant legs, and trudged through their flooded neighborhood on McCarthy Avenue.
And every time they let cars keep driving by, it makes waves go through the houses, and it's ruining the houses worse.
Boyd points out how high the water's reached inside her home as she splashes through her living room and hallways.
We got up what we could, but towards that end of the house, it gets a lot deeper.
The rain never let up Sunday, overwhelming lagoons and creeks. The water spilled into the streets, flooding several neighborhoods in Oceano, Grover Beach, and Arroyo Grande. Crews shut down roadways and advised residents to evacuate.
Pretty significant storm activity. You want to make sure that people who may have emergency and needs, that you can knock on their door, talk to them, see how they're doing, and advise them that maybe they ought to move to higher ground.
They came by earlier this morning before the water really got high and said that they were advising people to evacuate, but now it's not a choice. It's just not a choice.
Still, Boyd refuses to leave.
I've been here for 50 years. I'm fifth generation Oceano Beach, and I'm not going nowhere.
Outside the Cal Poly Performing Arts Center, anti-war protesters. On the inside, one of the biggest names to speak at Cal Poly in recent years. We were able to speak with 4-star retired Army General Stanley McChrystal before his lecture.
No, it's an honor to be here because we'll be talking a little bit about the area, Central Asia, but we're talking about the world, and of course the thing I'm passionate about, and that's leadership in America.
General McChrystal is the man credited with the 2003 capture of Saddam Hussein, and he assumed command of all international forces in Afghanistan in June of 2009. After an interview in Rolling Stone magazine, he resigned. In the article, he made controversial remarks about the Obama administration and the handling of the war. But in his lecture at Cal Poly, McChrystal focused on the issues beyond war.
But really the underlying message that I carry, that I've come to believe, is that we need to learn to see things through other people's perspectives, because at the end of the day, that's what's important, to have the empathy to see that there are multiple sides, not just two sides to every issue.
But his appearance comes with criticism.
He was helping develop strategies which were supposed to be, you know, the ingenious ways we were going to get this war over quickly and allow Obama to get everybody home next year. Well, it's not happening, and he's partly to blame for that.
Anti-war group Code Pink is asking about the money being spent on the war.
And it could be used instead to help us thrive as a nation instead of just barely surviving.
Those who were inside the lecture, like Army veteran Matt Jafrida, who served in Afghanistan, feels the speech gives all sides a better understanding.
So to hear his perspective maybe will help someone, even who's very opposed to war on general principles, at least understand some of the things that are going on there a little bit better.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
I was a very good friend of the pilot on the plane that went down in Pennsylvania, and he had a young family, and it always touches my heart. So I'm thankful for this gathering.
Our goal is just to provide a forum for people to remember and pay honor.
9/11, it was cataclysmic in the respect that for our country, we have to remember that there are people that are still continuing to protect our way of life and still continuing to protect our freedom, and the fight is not over, and I don't believe that it ever will be.
How sweet the sound.
The United States of America remains one of the most desirable places on this planet to live. It's not just for our mountains and rivers, not even our cars and homes or our technology, but for our freedom that we have.
I thank you very much.
We had 9,000 eggs for this event.
Well, everybody was sort of excited, so they all barged in for the golden eggs. Starting, people barged and they were so excited they missed this egg. I'm just trying to find as many eggs as I can.
This event's been going on for 10 years. It's a free event for the Pismo Beach area, our tourists, and the community.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5. Yellow, purple, orange, pink, and 2 greens.
We have 48 Air Force guys out here volunteering to make this event possible for the community.
On your mark, get set, go.
It's something for the kids to do, and you know, when they're happy, I'm happy.
The kids were able to do face painting, craft activities, Easter egg hunt for all age divisions, and then all the game boards, the beanbag tosses and bubbles, and just everything possible for kids, basically.